Hey guys, welcome back to another Spy Family Sunday. Man, it feels like I haven't said that in a while. In fact, I think it's been more than a month since the last chapter came out, so very excited to be back to talk about Spy Family. Thank you again for all of the support here on my channel. If you're liking the content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. So this chapter was definitely more of a transitional chapter, but it was adorable. So we've reached the end of the semester basically. And now, as promised a long time ago, actually, the kids are going to have their end of the semester gala, their dance to socialize and meet other classmates and etc. And so the chapter starts off with two students out in the courtyard. The guy's asking the girl, hey, would you do me the honor of going to the gala dance with me? She agrees, and there's just like this cute moment. And so Becky's reminded that she needs to invite Lloyd to the dance. And she's really excited about it. And of course, Mr. Henderson is like, this is only for students, no parental figures will be there. So her dreams are just totally shattered. And so Desmond is walking with his friends and Emil is asking him, hey, are you planning on asking anybody to the dance? And of course, you know how Desmond is, like everything is a resounding no with him. And so he's like, I don't have time for like kiddie parties. What are you talking about? I have more important things to do. And Becky's like, hey, Anya, you should ask Desmond to the dance. And she's like, well, dancing with him make him like me? And she's like, of course, like it'll form a bond between you two. And so Anya's straight to the point. She just turns around, she's like, hey, Scion boy, dance with me at the party. And of course he's like blushing and flustered, and he can't even believe this is happening. And so he just runs away. And Mr. Henderson is like, hey, how many times do I have to tell you, no running in the halls? And that was quite inelegant the way you basically rejected her. And Anya's like, you know what, I don't want to dance with him either. And Becky's like, don't worry, you'll have other opportunities to ask him. And she's like, do you have a dress for the dance? Anya says no. She's like, got you, we're gonna go shopping. Flash forward to the day of the dance. Becky shows up in what I'm assuming is a red dress. It's really cute. She says hi to Mr. Henderson, who's outside carrying some boxes. And so Mr. Henderson notices that Martha's there dropping her off, and he tells her, thank you for helping us out with the incident with the children. And she's like, oh yeah, no problem. And so he's asking her if she'll be available to help out a little bit because they don't have as many volunteers as they hope for. And she's like, isn't this just like you, Henry? Like, of course, I'd be happy to join you. And so we get into the dance and there's just a ton of students. And Becky was under the impression that it was just going to be her class, but it's all of the classes. It's basically a political gathering for the children, which is insane to me. But, when you go to elite schools, these are the things that happen. And so Becky's surprised to see everybody there. We see Desmond, who's hanging on the wall, and he's dressed in this really nice white suit. His hair is done. He has like a pocket sleeve. He's drinking grape juice, and his friends are just so impressed. It's like, oh, that's so sour. It's so grown up, and all this stuff. And it's like, all right, guys, relax. Y'all are six. Damian's he's above this. He doesn't really care about this dance. He thinks it's a waste of time. Of course, all of the girls see him, and they're whispering like, oh, he's so handsome. Maybe I should ask him, and blah, blah, blah. And his friends are like, you're popular. And he's like, what do you expect? I'm a Desmond. And then Anya arrives, and so her dress is like strapless, and it's black, and it's elegant, and she has her hair in these cute little buns. Like, Anya just looks adorable. And to her surprise, she gets a lot of attention in the room from both boys and girls, saying, oh, that's Anya from Cecile Hall. Ewan and George are pretty much just teasing Damian about it. Of course, Damian says that he doesn't care, but he does. Like, Damian is just really stubborn. And so one of the teachers that's there is saying they're going to have a friendly competition between all of the classes, and whoever wins gets the right to enjoy one of the Imperial Scholars' private lounges for a day. So who knows what that entails, but apparently it's something really cool. Bill is saying to Damian, like, may the best class win. He doesn't really care, but once they start playing the games, Damian is like really into it, and he's telling people like, don't screw this up, take it seriously. He gets all of his answers right. Anya goes, she doesn't do as well, obviously, and he's like, damn it, take this seriously. And so at the end of the competition, it looks like Viserys Hall is the one that ultimately won the competition. And so after the games, everybody is socializing again and talking, there's a butler that comes up to Damian and offers him a drink, and it is Lloyd in disguise. Of course, Anya told him about the dance, and the wheels start spinning for Lloyd. He's like, this is the perfect chance for them to get closer. Like, I have to move this forward. And so he's there just to see how things are sort of progressing. Becky is like, I wish Lloyd was here so I could dance with him. And Anya's like, hey, well, if you want to, you can go dance with that guy. And she's like, no way, that's not Lloyd. Lloyd's the only man for me. Like, what are you talking about? Becky gets invited to dance by this boy named Narcissus from Rose Hall. He has an interesting look about him. His tie has like a skull on it, and there's a chain hanging from his pants, and his boots are kind of pointy. It's like a punkish look, which is really interesting. And so he asks Becky to dance, and some other boys come up and they're like, in your dreams. And of course, Becky's like, oh, all these boys fighting over my attention. Like, what should I do? And then ultimately she's like, I'm sorry, boys, but I'm not interested in children. And they're like, what? But we're the same age. So the party keeps going. Everybody is trying to mingle, and the battlefield is pretty intense. Like, all these kids are like, how do I get this person? How do I make this connection? And Mr. Henderson's sort of in the background, and he's like, this is precisely why parents were not invited, because if it's this intense between the kids, imagine what it would be like if the parents were there. A lot of the girls are coming up to Damian, and they're like, Damian, dance with me, dance with me, dance with me. He doesn't care about any of this. And then Anya is suddenly in the spotlight, and Anya gets approached by this boy, and he says that she captured his heart during the hijacking bus incident, and she was so brave, and he wants to dance with her. Like a legitimate compliment, and it was really cute. And some of the other boys are like, no, Miss Forger, I want to dance with you. And so she's starting to get a lot of attention. Becky teases Damian about it. She's like, hey, she's getting asked to dance by a lot of boys. I guess she shouldn't have rejected her in the beginning. And of course, he's like, what? She could dance with whoever she wants to. Like, I don't care. And then this other boy comes up to her with this really odd shaped haircut. It looks like a triangle, if I'm being honest. His name is Arnold Crowley. He's asking her to dance because he scored highest on the classical language exams, and since Anya was only one place behind him, he's interested in her. So Damian's mad about that, and he's like, what do you care? Like, she already asked you and you said no, so why don't you just leave us alone? And Damian's like, well, I guess you guys can just do what you want. And so Lloyd's watching all of this, and he's like, the boys that are asking Anya to dance aren't really people who I can get solid intel from, so he's not too impressed with the choices. And so Anya's reading his mind, of course, and she's like, well, if he's not impressed, I am just going to go with Damian. And so she tells them, sorry, but I really want to dance with Scion Boy. And of course, Damian's like, what? Like, why? And some of the other girls are like, God, doesn't she have any shame? It's like, didn't he already reject her? It's like basically just saying that she doesn't know when to quit. All of the girls that are surrounding Damian are just really pushing to dance with him and trying to discourage him to dance with Anya, because they're like, hey, isn't she the girl that punched you? Why would you want to dance with her? And so Ewan and Emil basically form like a line. They're like telling all the girls, like, okay, ladies, like, we're gonna do this rationally. Everybody form a single file line to figure out who's gonna be Damian's dance partner. And it's just super dramatic and hilarious. Damian wants nothing to do with it, and so it looks like basically there's gonna be a competition in order to dance with Damian. Anya's ready to do that. She's like, let's do this. Like, we're gonna win. World peace is at stake. And so, like, she's all about the mission. And so that's basically how the chapter ends. And Mr. Henderson is like, well, the dance is gonna start in 10 minutes, so just keep that in mind. So next chapter should be fairly interesting. It's probably gonna be hilarious. Picking and seeing who's going to get to dance with Damian. I mean, hopefully, obviously, everybody wants it to be Anya, but who knows what's gonna happen. But it's cute. I mean, I like the chapter. I feel like Damian he's still resisting this friendship with Anya. And the fact that Anya is so straightforward about what she wants is a little unnerving to him, because he's trying to deny the fact that, like, hey, I actually do like Anya, whether that's friendship or he actually has a crush on her. And even though Anya is doing this for the mission, I think on some level she wants to be friends with him too. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a great bonding experience for them, especially if they do end up dancing. I don't know. I mean, I think ultimately it will lead to them becoming closer and being legitimate friends. I'm excited for the next chapter. Hopefully that they get to dance together. Maybe they'll have a conversation. Maybe Damian will start opening up. I mean, all of this is positive, so I think it's leading to Anya eventually getting to Damian's house. Like, that is where we want to get to. So yeah, cute chapter, definitely more of a transition. We will see what happens in chapter 96. And so I hope you guys enjoyed my review of chapter 95 of Spy Family. And until next time, remember to be awesome and stay true.